Welcome. We are diving straight into part one of Present with Impact, which is going to be all about planning. Planning your presentation in such a way that it's going to create the right kind of impact, the kind of impact that you want to create with a presentation. We spend a lot of time creating a presentation, and I feel that if it doesn't get us the right kind of response, the impact that we want, then well, it's essentially a waste of time. So, how does planning get into this? If you're the kind of person who always just opened up a presentation, a PowerPoint, or Google Slides, whatever you use to create a presentation, and just start jamming information, well, that's a problem. What you're doing is you're just approaching it with a very broad idea that I need this information, and this seems to be the best way possible to put it. But this is not a way that creates impact. Well, you are sharing the information, but it's not structured in the right way. And if you know me and if you've gone through all the other modules that I've created, then you know that structuring can create a massive change to the way that you are talking about something. So, which is what planning is going to help you. So, the first step of presentations is please don't open a presentation. We are going to maybe go the old pen and paper route and just first work on a presentation. We're going to plan it and we're going to structure it. And this is going to reduce your time a lot when you finally have to design it. And if you're ready to get started, let's jump right into the planning stage. You are going to love this video because everyone who's done this workshop has loved this particular part of it because it's changed the way they look at presentations, it's changed the way they design presentations, and this one step has made them start loving creating presentations even more. And I know that you want to be one among them. So let's jump into it. So, the first and foremost, what are we going to cover in this particular part? We are going to be looking at three things when it comes to planning your presentation, which is going to be the core message of your presentation, the structure that you're going to use, and for a little bit more advanced level, how to include storytelling into your presentations. So, a little backstory on how storytelling is a part of this. I actually created this entire program a few years ago. Well, it was slightly different then, but I created this for high level managers who wanted to improve their presentations with storytelling. So, they were essentially technical presentations, including storytelling, so that anybody who actually looks at the presentation is able to take away really technical concepts, difficult to understand concepts, but they now understand it very easily. That's how this entire course came into existence 5 years ago. And now this is a much enhanced version. It's become more crisper, more streamlined, and you're definitely going to get the benefit out of it. If you are at a slightly more advanced level, then this is a part that you're definitely going to enjoy. How to use storytelling in presentations, how to include storytelling, and more importantly, how do you include or share data through storytelling. Think back to some presentation maybe that you have watched in the past week, or the most recent presentation that you saw that was given by somebody maybe at work, maybe online or something, and think about how much do you actually remember from that presentation. Do you remember everything that they shared? Do you remember all the slides that they put up there? Or maybe do you remember just what the idea of the presentation was? If you remember a little bit more than that, maybe you remember certain good points that you think were really great in the presentation. And this is what happens with all of us. We think that maybe because we are giving a presentation, people will remember everything that we're saying, but it's usually not the case. What actually happens is people remember only 50%, which means they forget 50% of it the minute you're done with the presentation. A day later, they remember less than 25%. And after a week, 10% if they remember. That's a great thing. Just like how you couldn't remember a lot of the presentation, I'm sure that is exactly what happens with everybody. So people don't really remember a lot. We think our memory is great, but well, it's not really that great, right? We don't remember a lot of things, and especially if they weren't impactful, we are definitely not going to remember a lot. Just there's something that strikes us, and that's the one that we take away, right? So what is important is for your presentation to create the impact that you need to learn how to make your message stick. And how are you going to make that message stick is going to be of the utmost importance. How are we going to do that? Let's look at it. To be able to make your message stick, we are going to look at the concept of less is more. most often you will see presentations that are 100 slides, that is a lot of information, and you're thinking, this was supposed to be a 30-minute maybe meeting, and this person has come up with a huge presentation. This is just not happening. So the minute you see that huge presentation, you're already thinking, nah, this is not going to happen, this is not going to go into my head, I'm probably not going to listen anyway. And this is what happens to us a lot. Information overload is not the best way to get your point across. So what we want to do is we're going to learn the concept of less is more, through which we are going to ensure that our presentation does not fall in the same problem area. Therefore, we are going to take in a method of focusing on quality versus quantity. And trust me, this is going to make a difference to your presentations. How do we bring in this approach of quality versus quantity? Is we're going to look at the relevance factor. We always think that there is a lot of information that we need to share. We want to give everything. We have so much knowledge, we have so much things to share with people, and we think they need to know everything. However, that's not what people usually are interested. They don't want to know everything. They just want to know something that's going to help them maybe make a decision, learn something, maybe want to know more about it itself, right? It definitely, they don't want to know everything. And the concept of less is more is create impact with less, and people who want more will always come back to you and ask you for more. It is better than overloading information and be a turnoff for everyone who probably would have wanted to learn more about it. So therefore, relevance is the part which is the intersection of what you want to share with people, all the information, and what actually people need to know, what they are interested, and that is going to give you the relevant information that you need to share. Based on this, we are going to understand how to structure our core message, the concept of less is more, quality versus quantity, and relevant information. Now, you should have done my speech module in terms of speak with impact and what to say. So, if you've done that, then definitely this is going to be a little similar. If not, I will highly suggest that you stop, go back, watch that, and then come here, because it is definitely important to what I'm saying. I do not enjoy the aspect of coming in with new concepts every time. So it is going to be how you can connect the existing things that I've taught you and build up on it when it comes to presentations. So, how do you construct a core message? We're going to look at three things. One, what is the goal? What is the outcome? What is the purpose of your presentation? Two, who are you actually presenting it to? Who's your audience? And then finally, how much time do you have? We need to take all these three into consideration. Let me give you an example. If I had to do a presentation on time management for different people, then how would I do it? Let's say I'm going to talk about time management for coaches or for teachers or for trainers per se, and I have only about 30 minutes with them. The next thing is maybe the same topic, time management, but now I'm looking at people, working professionals who are doing a 9 to 5 and who are doing a different kind of a job, and they also need it. And for them, probably I don't have more than 15 minutes. So, both of this, there is a different kind of an audience, there is a different time factor involved. So, based on this, my goal will also change. What do I mean by goal? So my goal is either a content goal, an attitude goal, or a skill goal. A content goal is essentially where I'm just sharing information. An attitude goal is where I'm trying to change people's mindset. And a skill goal is when I'm actually teaching them how to do something. So it's a transfer of skill. Now, which of these goals will I be ideally be able to do best in these two places? So let's look at one of the scenarios, the 15-minute one, the shorter time limit. I have 15 minutes and I have working professionals, 9 to 5ers, and they need to know about time management. Now, these people already understand the importance of time management, so I don't actually have to change their mindset, change their attitude. I might only have to do or a brand new concept for them. So, what I would probably explain to them is a concept, maybe eat the frog, do the most difficult job and set aside a couple of hours for that. And I will only focus on that one small concept of time management and ask them to set aside a couple of hours of undisturbed time, the minimum that they can, to get their job done. And that is something that I can work on, both changing their mindset, and it's a simple topic that I don't have to go into a skill per se. I can just tell them to block an hour on their calendar and how to do it. So if you look at it, the way I would do that for them is going to be different. However, with coaches and teachers or trainers, they probably don't have that kind of a time management requirement that they need to. They more have sessions. What would help them in this regard is not probably a time block in a 1 hour for a specific task or important task. Rather, they might be facing a problem of scheduling the calendar better. So I could teach them a concept of time blocking. So now this is a 30-minute piece. I can talk about the importance of time blocking, and then I can tell them how to do time blocking without going into too much details. And this is perfect for 30 minutes. Now look at how I have changed what I'm presenting for both the people. So this is what it means by core messaging. The core message for this audience, for working professionals, would be how can you get that annoying, the most important task that you never have time for done in a really easy way. That's a 15-minute presentation. And how do you manage your schedule like a pro with this one technique that I'm going to share for coaches and trainers. Now that is a core message that is more specific to the audience. They are going to get something of value, and they are bound to listen to the entire presentation because they know it's going to definitely benefit them. And that is what we mean by WIIFM. What's in it for me? And that is how your core message needs to be constructed. I hope this helps you with understanding how do you build a core message. Now, this is what is going to be that 10% that people are going to remember, that this person taught me this one technique that helped me fix this particular thing. And if that's all they remember, great, because then they can always come back to you and ask you, can you teach me more about this? But if they're going to be able to remember a little bit more, then what they remember should be defined by you and not their own takeaway. And which is why we are going to learn how to structure the rest of your presentation in a better manner using the power of three. Now, using the core message and the power of three, we are going to use a structure called a presentation pyramid, which starts like this. You begin with your core message, you iterate the importance of what they're going to learn in the presentation, and then you're going to come up with three main points or three aspects that are going to help you achieve the outcome that you had decided, which is your core message. And if you need more, if you have more time, if you want to add more information, then you add supporting points below these three main points, and they can be in threes as well. The idea of threes, the power of threes, is people remember 3 points very clearly. The minute it exceeds three, there are too many points. People will not remember. We're going back to the concept of 10%, 25%. People don't remember a lot. And if they're only going to remember a little, you ensure that you tell them what you want them to remember, and that's it. Not whatever they want to take away. It's always better to make your message stick. All right. So I hope you understood the presentation pyramid. If not, I have an example for you. So how do you move this from an idea to a structure is this. All you can do is take a pen and paper, and if you know how to do mind mapping, brilliant. If not, it is there in speech what to say module. You can go and take a look at how to do mind mapping in detail. But mind mapping is a wonderful way to actually structure this presentation. I'm going to give you a link to a tool that I love using, which is called Miro, which is going to help you actually do this for free, create a mind map for free, and definitely try and use this particular piece. This is how a mind map is going to look. Right now, this is a mind map of the first part of this entire presentation, which is planning. Right, so I have taken the presentation skill present with impact module, and under that there are three parts, right? Plan, create, and deliver. And what I've created is just this particular module. How does it look as a presentation pyramid? So planning, which is the outcome as to how do you structure your presentation for impact, is the core message. And under that, I'm covering three things. One is core message, structure, and then storytelling. We've under these there are then three points. Sometimes it can be more than 3 points. Sometimes, maybe because if it's a process, you're going to have maybe 5, 6, 7 steps. That's okay. But as long as you follow this presentation pyramid, people will understand, retain information better. They know that you're moving from one segment to another segment. They know you're moving from one topic to another topic, and it becomes easy for them to connect the dots in their head. All right. And when you do this, when you're keeping the time factor in mind, when you're keeping the audience in mind, you will not add unnecessary things. Create your mind map and then look at, okay, is this too much information? Maybe I don't need this. Maybe can take this off. This is not required. This is not helping my achieve my outcome. Can I not include this as a part of this particular presentation? It doesn't make sense. So remove all the unnecessary pieces. Mind mapping is very flexible, and it is easy for you to move things around instead of a basic bulleted list. All right, so you can do this on your paper, on a piece of paper as well, or you can do this using the tool, sharing the link with this video. Definitely take a look at this, and this is how you go from an idea to a mind map or a structure, which is then going to be amazing for you to create the right kind of impact. Now, I hope that you've understood presentation pyramid, but what we need to remember is do not forget the conclusion. Most often people end up forgetting conclusions. Why is it that we do that? We create the entire presentation and then it's just a thank you, any question slide. I don't get the point of this. Well, you need to conclude strong. It's not just how you begin your presentation. The way you begin presentation is going to keep people hooked the entire presentation. The way you structure your presentation is going to ensure that people are just constantly listening to you because they know you're giving them something really valuable. And but if you just stop there and just say questions, thank you, and that's it, I'm done, it is not really the best conclusion. So these are certain ways in which you can end your presentation better. One is you can summarize all the key points of your presentation. You can ask them a question and ask them what are they going to do next, what are they going to implement, and this is a really good way to know if they understood and if they've taken the same points that you wanted to impress upon them. And then finally, you can also give them a call to action or a CTA, which is tell them, this is what I want you to do. Go and try this, go do this. So you are driving them towards the most important takeaway. All right. So don't forget to work on your conclusion. Conclusions are important. It can just be one slide where you're just reiterating the most important points. So with that, we have understood how to plan and structure our presentations. Now we have learned first how to construct a core message with three important things in mind. One, which is the audience, the time, and the goal. What is it that we're trying to do? Based on this, create a good core message. And then using the power of three, you can keep creating a presentation pyramid and add three points, which is going to really structure your presentation in a beautiful way. Now, I have given a lot of structures actually in the what to say module. If you remember it, then perfect. Then you can actually use those structures into this presentation model, and it's going to make it amazing because we've spoken about why, how, what, influence model, problem centered, solution centered. I've given you so many ways in which you can structure your information. You can just straight away implement one of those structures in this 3 point method and put it into your presentation pyramid, and there you have a beautiful presentation. And always remember to not forget your conclusion. Drive the takeaway, drive the important points, and end strong. Finishing strong is extremely important. Remember, your conclusion is not the place for you to start something new, start a new topic. It's not where you're supposed to do this. Only end what you have already explained. All right, I hope that this part was essential and it really helps you create a really good presentation. Now the next video, we are going to learn all about storytelling and using data with storytelling. So you can definitely go ahead and take a look at that. Now, even if you're a beginner, don't worry, watch the part and maybe you will really be inspired and come up with really good stories that you can then make your presentation even more amazing. All right, so no assignment as yet, but you can definitely go take a look at Miro and see if you have an idea for a presentation. Start putting it, start creating that structure, and I will see you in the next video to learn all about storytelling.